Well, good morning, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It is the 27th of July, day 132 remote, and that's all I have to say about that. If you're a business down in the Bentonville area, anybody that knows where that is, that's actually Walmart's world headquarters. We're doing a Christmas in July event, freely giving away our year-ahead sales forecast projections for dozens of seasonal categories. So if you're a supplier down in the Bentonville area, have some of these categories and dozens of other ones that we'll be freely giving away to prove our value and what we do when it comes to projecting sales and weather a year ahead. This is an example of snow accessories, and again, we expect a very slow start, obviously, this year with a hot, dry forecast in the fall outlook, and then picking up some steam around the holidays into early January. But overall, a below-average snowfall season, again, this year just up a bit from last year's pretty epically low snow season. So again, if you're down in the Bentonville area and want to see what we do freely with our year-ahead projections by Walmart geographies, I think you'll like what we have to have here. Looking at July weather trends here so far, again, month is almost over here, 1st through the 26th. It's been hot. 0.9 degrees warmer than last year, third warmest in 35 years, much above average nationally. Cool spot would be the Pacific Northwest. Driest in 3 years, 15th wettest in 35 years, so just a bit above average. But again, a lot of the areas here in the east and certainly the west have been dry, so it's feast or famine. You've either had some rain or you haven't. So it's been a dichotomy across the country here. One thing that's a near miss here, fortunately for Hawaii, we had Hurricane Douglas is passing just to the north of the Hawaiian Islands. Fortunately, some of the models just here over the weekend were suggesting a direct hit for where I grew up in Kaneohe, Hawaii, many moons ago. But fortunately, it's passing well north of the islands. And I always say, if you're not in this right front quadrant of the storm, which is well off the coast of the Hawaiian Islands, nowhere near the islands, you're just not going to have the extreme conditions. So it's really that right front quadrant, have severe weather, high winds. But if you're in that southwest quadrant, as the islands are in, you typically don't get much. So maybe not as much rain as expected in the Hawaiian Islands, and certainly not the extreme winds that were maybe likely just a couple days ago. So again, I remember Hurricane Eva as a kid growing up there back in 1982, and it was over 100 miles away. It went toward Kauai, but we were in that right front quadrant. And again, despite being 100 miles away, it was a pretty catastrophic storm at the time, the most damaging one in Hawaii's history to that point. It was 300 plus million in damages. And then after that, back in 1992, they had Iniki, which was just epic, 5.5 billion in damages. So nothing like that here to worry about today. Again, fortunately passing well north of the islands. Looking at the Atlantic Basin, off to a record-shattering start here. Already 8 named systems, and we're probably going to add 9 here today or tomorrow. So this is a record-shattering start here, 169 years. And if we go back to look at these fast starts, we are very concerned. We've been saying this for a year now, that this is a devastating season in the making here for the United States. If you go back and look at some of these fast starts, we've had names like Harvey and Matthew and Sandy in 2012. Yes, we're worried about the Northeast U.S. this year. Ike, Katrina in 2005. So again, don't get lulled to sleep here. This is going to be a very devastating season, and we've been projecting this for over a year now. So again, Northeast Florida and New Orleans area are areas of concern. One thing that's also way up is a drought. This is expanding pretty rapidly here. We're already at 56% of the country in dry to drought phases. That's way up over last year's record low of just 10%. So rapidly expanding. We thought we'd hit 56% by this time next year in 2021, and over 50% this year, but very, very fast start here. So we've upped the numbers here for the drought conditions into next year. This is a dry drought cycle. Again, feast or famine. Those that get wet rain will get it, but this will definitely be an expanding theme here as we go into the spring, summer of 2021. One thing that's actually way down is tornadic activity. We're down 30% versus last year, 12% below average, and 52% below that epic start to the season in 2011. So tornadoes, fortunately, are down. That's a good thing. Looking at this week, last few days of July into early August, hot in the east and the west, cool in the middle. 0.6 degrees warmer than last year, making it 11th warmest in 35 years, so above average national temperatures. But again, cool in the middle of the country. Wetter than last year, 7th wettest in 35 years, with a heavier band of rainfall going through the Tennessee Valley areas. We'll have to watch the East Coast here again. Models are pretty certain that we're going to have Isaias, I think it is, the I storm, number 9. It's heading through the Caribbean, Puerto Rico. We'll see if it makes the exit ramp off the East Coast here and heads toward Bermuda. TBD on that, how close to the U.S. it gets. But this weekend, we're going to have to watch the southeast coast for Isaias. Very likely to be a hurricane off the coast. Next week, 3 through 9 August, 1.3 degrees warmer than last year, making it the second hottest in 35 years. So a very, very hot start to August here. Warmest in 19 years, much above average national temperatures. Wettest in 3, fourth wettest in 35 years. So again, watching the mid-Atlantic here for any potential tropical activity. Looking at the 2-week aggregate across the world here, 27 July through 9 August. Again, cool spot in the Central U.S., but hot everywhere else. Europe, Northern Europe's on the cool side, as is Western Russia. Mediterranean's pretty hot, and cool down in winter in Australia. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here this time next week.